The French presidential election takes place on the 22nd of April and the 6th of May. Who will be in the Élysée Palace after the second round? Nicolas Sarkozy is seeking re-election. Among the contenders, François Bayrou doesn't plan to make it easy for him. Beyrou is the MoDem centrist party candidate, a man known for his warm manner and political courage. In spite of the defection of friends to the camp of the incumbent, Beyrou refuses to give way in the space left between Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande. A kingmaker? Perhaps. We accompanied him through a day on the campaign trail. This portrait from Pierre Assemat.
Alors, chez qui sommes-nous? Chez nous.
François Bayrou believes if at first you don't succeed, try again. The MoDem, Democratic Movement party leader, centrist, is campaigning for the French presidency for the third time. He knows the ropes. His acolytes say he is a realistic idealist. In Haute Vienne, central France, he found himself in farm country. He is from Bordères, in the western Pyrenees region. A farmer himself and son of a farmer, raising horses. He does not label himself a man of the land candidate, but explains what he is doing here.
En parlant réellement
It's to talk in real terms about what's involved for people who raise livestock. The agroeconomic constraints, breeding, everything about the agricultural trade. It's both to show recognition and to assure them that they'll at least be listened to in the future and understood.
Ils seront à l'avenir au moins entendus, compris et entendus.
Beyrou came third in France's presidential election in 2007. He made it as far as the second round, no further. It cleared the way. From the previous UDF party, MoDem was born, in opposition to then new President Nicolas Sarkozy. Beyrou took up a position as the alternative. He slams the bipolarity of French political debate. His battle cry is production in France.
Attention! Soyez gentils!
The MoDem candidate projects a paternalist, reassuring character. He encourages openness and bringing people together. This is a weakness as well as a strength, since it has given the appearance of different centrist forces as spread out. For 10 years, Beyrou has not shifted from his political message a single millimetre. Some hold this against him, saying he's only thinking about personal ambition. Some opinion polls predict he could win against Sarkozy or the socialist candidate François Hollande in the second round of voting. The classically educated Beyrou, a former teacher, is convinced he will end up president.
On va prendre du Peggy, justement. Le long du coteau courbe et des nobles vallées, les châteaux sont semés comme des reposoirs. Et dans la majesté des matins et des soirs, la Loire et ses vassaux s'en vont par ses allées.
Is your professor switch always on?
Il est toujours présent.
C'est l'amour du beau.
It's the love of beauty, not professor. I always try to explain things. I think it's a civic duty to teach. I think we need to let people understand the situation in the country as precisely as the so-called experts. No one does it. To me, it's crucial, but I'm not giving lessons.
You say reducing this race to just Sarkozy and Hollande is wrong. How do you fit in?
Well, so far, it's actually idol worship of Sarkozy and Hollande. We get the impression that's all there is. No matter what radio news program you turn on, you'll hear Nicolas Sarkozy said this and François Hollande answered that, or the other way around. But that's just a passing moment in the campaign, until they notice that people are fed up. The backlash will be as violent as the attempt to impose round two before having the first round.
Is your message getting across to French people?
A presidential election is less about message than it is about the messenger. It's about who he or she is. Can I, for once, trust someone?
I'll just ask you then, who are you?
Well, I'm someone with his family who's come from a humble level of French society. From farmers and workers. Someone who made his way by getting an education. And thanks to democracy, who fought without ever giving up, who saw clearly when he first got involved, and whose vocation it is to rebuild and gather together the greatest possible number of French people.
Last year you wrote a book putting your finger on something very important, the national debt.
We can climb out of that, I think, in 2 or 3 years. But it's going to need us to keep at it for 2 or 3 years. It's like a family that's over-indebted. It also requires that we rebuild what we've lost, which is to say a country that produces, a country that makes things, as it must do in order to become a country that sells, that earns market share in the world. And that's not easy after entire sectors of industry have been allowed to slip away.
Merci beaucoup, M. Bayrou. Et bonne continuation.
Merci.